The app that you're seeing on my screen right now is an app that I built in about 4 hours. It was pretty easy. Didn't have to type in a single line of code. And with that being said, I'll kind of show you how it was done. I'm going to run through some of the features of the app, some of the little benefits and features, and then I'm going to show you how I actually did it. And how you could do it too. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these features. So what this app is it's effectively a Microsoft PowerPoint alternative that just a little bit cleaner, easier to use, and something just that suits my needs a little bit more. So you could see here we have a presentation. We can toggle how the text is created. If I wanted to create some text, I can toggle its alignment. So here I can choose its alignment. You could see I can make it italicized, bold, underlined. I mean, you name it, I could do it. Same way any kind of normal other text system works. We have fonts installed. We have the ability to upload images as well. So here you could see here I uploaded a cover of my book that I wrote about making it in SaaS. So how to actually make money with micro SaaS and how to psychologically sell. If you want to actually read that book, I'll leave a link in the description box below. You could also check it out on my websites, controloutcomes.com. As a developer, there's very little outcomes that you can control when you go get a job and things like that. So if you need help controlling your outcomes, check out my website in the link in the description. You'll check it out. But anyways, here we have this little feature where we can choose the border color. So this was just a nice little feature that I kind of added in here. Obviously, might have to do some cleanup work on this app, but overall it's not bad. Here we have the white version or the light version. Here's the dark. You can tell the difference in colors, right? And what it presents. And then here we have the present function. So I can move my arrow keys, right, left and right, and it will go through from screen to screen, right? So it's pretty cool there as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bottom here. So this bottom has this little arrow, and what it opens up is the slides section. So very similar to PowerPoint, how you have these slides on the left-hand side. We have that here as well, but it has additional functions and features. So here is a little edit icon, right? So the little pencil icon, and what we can do is we can add text, right? We can edit text. We can change titles, things like that. Now, I personally prefer to edit it through a box like this as opposed to editing it on screen. It's a little cleaner, easier to do, easier to use. And then once I'm finished, I just hit Save Changes. The next thing I added was this little plus here where I can add slides here as well. So notice here how all of these slides have this default format. Pretty simple, pretty easy to use as well. The nice thing also on this bottom side here, it has a slider on the slide section. So I can go ahead and slide left to right, and notice the animations as I take my mouse and hover over each section here. Pretty simple. Anybody could do this as well. And then finally here I have this feature called the AI generator. Now this AI generator has two features within it. If I simply just want to add different slides, I'll just go over here and copy and paste some context or text in this case. And this will be AI powered in the future. I'll have a little button somewhere here where we can generate text and it will show up here in the slides. And then I'll be able to hit generate and then I can actually, add some text. But in this case, I have to add some content. So for example, I can add content here. I can add content here, hit generate. And did I make a mistake here? I believe I have to add some text here. Let me actually remove this one. Let me make it a little bit easier for myself. But I'll just type in some text here. Okay, hit generate and there we go. It added right here. So let me remove this. I do have to see what that feature is or what the issue is, but pretty simple, right, overall. So once you create a slide, hit generate slides, and then they will end up right here. So pretty good. Now, over here, this little section, this AI text format, I can go straight into ChatGPT. So let me open that up real quick. which is right here. And let's say I want ChatGPT to create for me a bunch of slides in the proper format about Canva, right? Talking about Canva. Well, I just go over here, I copy all of this text just like this, and I will paste it in here. So I'll go to AI generator, this AI text format, and just paste it. And you can see here all this text is pasted. And then I'll just hit generate slides. And you can see here we have a whole bunch of other slides that are generated with the exact same text that was added. So let's just say you want to make a bunch of slides that literally copy and paste it from ChatGPT. You could go ahead and do that. And when you want to present it, you go into presentation mode and present them pretty easily, right? So that's essentially my creation in a matter of 4 hours. So how do I know it's 4 hours? Well, let me show you. So if we go over here to this AI tool that built it for me effectively, you can see here, let me just scroll all the way up, okay? Scroll all the way up. Well, I created it at 6:23 p.m. So I started at 6:23 p.m. and right now it's 11:16. So before I was recording this, it said 4 hours. You know, right now it's 5, but you get the point. And started telling it what I wanted, and then a few hours later, boom, I have everything done on the app. So very simple. The only thing I didn't add yet is payment capabilities or payment functions for other people to use, a landing page, database, but that stuff is pretty simple, right? That's just like the ending part of this application. So pretty simple, pretty easy to use. Now, the nice thing about some of the stuff that I do is there's certain ways that I build these apps without databases actually. So a lot of people use Supabase, maybe some people use Airtable. If you guys are familiar with Softer, it's basically like a glorified database with a UI implemented into it. I don't really use, that's not true. I was going to say I really don't use databases, but that's not true. I do have a lot of SaaSes with databases. However, I let other apps kind of handle that for me. So I don't have to necessarily include a database in here. I will have this software or this app that people will go pay through that app and they'll come here, and then everything will be preloaded that way. I can explain that more in a future video, but it's one of the ways that you can easily cut costs when doing this. Now, this software that essentially built my app for me is called Replit. Okay, I'll leave a link in the description. You guys can sign up and get $10 for free in credit. I think I pay for I think it's like $20 a month or something like that. I think I total paid $180 for the entire year for this app. And basically, it's an AI tool that essentially builds you apps, right? Like SaaS apps. It's a great alternative for people who don't code or don't want to code or don't want to spend as much time coding. And you could really go really, really far with this. You got to think, if I was able to do this in 4 hours, a normal developer would sit down and get the work done, could do this in 400 hours. And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of directions where I'll go a certain direction into the app. I'll believe I want to do something, and then I'll change it halfway through. And I'll say, you know what, let's remove this, let's redo this, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. And when you're actually coding in real life, you're building your app, sometimes you're not 100% certain on the functionality, or certain kinds of functionality that you imagined doesn't actually come to fruition because of certain changes you want to make or certain things that you realize doesn't work. And when you create your infrastructure for your app, things like the identities, the infrastructure, the variables, certain classes, right, objects in your code change over time, and maybe you want them to have different kinds of functionality, and it's not entirely 100% easy to create an app rather quickly all the time. Now, I always encourage, and even in my book, I encourage you to create an app relatively fast. Now, I'm not one of these guys who are like, oh, put out an MVP as quick as possible. I'm not one of those guys. But I'm saying it shouldn't take you too long to create an app, especially with the amount of technology we have now in today's day and age. This is truly the AI age, the birth of the AI age, and where there's going to be a lot of bad for a lot of people who can't develop apps, or are in the normal workforce. Maybe they're working in restaurants, in stores, basically jobs that are replaceable. That's going to become an issue. And if you're currently a developer, you're probably feeling the grunt of that right now. I mean, it's harder to find a job. There's less job openings. Even salaries are less. I think the golden age truly for developers was like in 2018. But things change. Things change over time, and things become much more difficult, not only because of competition, but there's other variables at play. AI is one of them. So you might as well join the team, use AI, use these tools. And once again, I'll leave a link in the description how you could build a tool like this with a software called Replit. If you just click the link in the description, it will take you to the website. And when you sign up, you'll get $10 for free to Replit. So it'll be pretty cool. For reference, my $180 package that I paid for the entire year comes with $25 a month of credits worth to build an app like this. And if you are curious, it cost me less than $10 to build an app like this in credits. So the other parts, like I said, are pretty simple. As far as databases and users and things like that, it's not going to be that hard. But I figured I'd let you guys know on this because anybody can do something like this. It's not that difficult to implement. You could definitely do something pretty cool with this, and you could build your own system. So if you guys want to see more videos or learn more content, check out my website, read my book, and I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Bye.